Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of. Today, we will be discussing the French drama horror film, The Vourdalak. This film was released in France on October 25th, 2023 by the director Adrien Beau. The film is based on the 1839 novella The Family of the Vourdalak by Aleksey Konstantinovich Tolstoy. The film is set in 18th century Eastern Europe and follows the protagonist, French Marquis Jacques Saturnin d'Antoine. Without giving any spoilers, the film starts with Jacques being robbed of his horse and bearings. He ends up going to a home to try to find assistance, and they tell him to go and find the home of old man Gorcha, who will have a horse for him to take back to France. Jacques then travels to Gorcha's home and ends up meeting his eldest son, Yegor, who just returned after a month of seeking revenge on the Turks who had recently pillaged their village. Old man Gorcha had also gone to fight the Turks, and he had advised his family that if he did not return in 6 days, he had unfortunately departed this mortal coil. Gorcha had also advised that if he returned after 6 days, that he would be a Vourdalak, and that he was not to be allowed within the home. Some of the key points I wanted to acknowledge is that this film was a Hammer-esque homage to 70s horror. The use of practical effects as opposed to CGI and the static shots, as well as the overall cinematography, gave a very 70s fuzzy film feel, and it was very nostalgic for me personally. I thoroughly enjoyed that the protagonist, Jacques, was aloof the majority of the film. He was not particularly likable. I think that was intentional, and it really allowed the storyline to develop itself around all of the other characters and the situations taking place throughout the film. I also wanted to note as well that this film did not have a resolution, which to me could be interpreted as there would be a sequel or there is room for a sequel, which would be fascinating to say the least. This film to me was a well-executed historical horror on a relatively modest budget. It did not aim to be overly ambitious, and I think that really worked to its favor and likability to myself. I was in shock when Gorcha had his first screen time. It was very Dark Crystal-esque in the form of puppetry, if you can catch my drift. I also think it's important to state that the scenes were intentionally crafted to make the viewer uncomfortable. I found it very difficult to anticipate what was to happen next, and to me that was very exciting and made it a more enjoyable experience. The set design was stunning. They truly chose a wonderful location to film this. It really added to how immersive the storyline became. I also found that the themes of occultism and spirituality in this film were a well-written reminder of the superstitious fears around war, famine, and illness in the old world. You may enjoy this film if you are a fan of classic Hammer horror films, 70s, early 80s ambient horror, as well as theatrical horror. This film plays out like a theatrical adaptation of a novella, so if you are a theater head that enjoys horror like I do, you may appreciate this. The easiest place to watch this film is going to be on AMC Plus or on Amazon Prime if you have a subscription to either. Now, if you end up watching this film, if you have seen this film or you're thinking about seeing this film, let me know in the comments below what you thought of it, and also let me know if you have any recommendations for films or TV shows you'd like me to review. Even if I've seen it before, I would still love to give a review if it would matter to you. So thank you so much for watching. I love you guys so much, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.